In this video, I would like to talk about Super Junior and that how they are not just a bias group for me. So when I do a list of top groups or top boy groups, it's like obvious that the first is gonna be Super Junior, but somehow I feel weird putting them there. It's like, yeah, they are the first, but there is such a huge gap between first and second place that it's like they are not even just a bias group. It's like they are the reason why I'm into K-pop in the first place. Like, why I'm into K-pop still, because they were not my first group, unfortunately, but I'm really glad I found them pretty soon, so it was pretty soon. And I just feel like if anything would happen to them, like they would disband, which is most likely not gonna happen, at least not like in 10 years or something. So it's like, what would I do? Probably I wouldn't be interested in K-pop. That's what I came to this conclusion. I wouldn't be interested in K-pop. And I was trying to think about other groups who I would still like follow. Even if it's not as actively as I do now, I would care what's with them, what's with these groups. And if Super Junior would disband, but more likely they would disband only after these groups. So, especially because the first group I could think of was FX, and they are my second favorite group, and they are my first favorite girl group, and they have been for a really long time. I'm loving FX for as long as I'm loving Super Junior. Yeah, like 1 week longer actually, because I learned FX member names a week sooner. And I just really care about what's with them. Like, I know that like bad things happen to them, and they are definitely not SM's favorite, but neither is Super Junior. And honestly, studying these two groups from SM, well, it's kind of hard to be not an asshole sometimes. Like, it's like, oh yeah, another fan complaining from another group. I'm like, why are you complaining? It's still better than what we got. You just get this feeling. So it's sometimes hard to like both of these groups, but I could never leave them. And in FX's case, I know they are not gonna last forever. Plus, they are a girl group. Eventually they are gonna get married and they are gonna have pretty kids, which I'm looking forward to, by the way. But until then, even if something would happen to Super Junior, which would probably be actually after that, I would still stick to FX at least until the day they disband. And even after that, I would still like follow them and would like to know what's with them. But FX would be the group that I couldn't just like leave to. So probably I wouldn't be as active, because I'm active in K-pop because of Super Junior. Like, it's like such a different love that I have for Super Junior than any other group. And I don't even know how that exists. Like, how? And the other group I thought that I could pay attention to a lot is not a lot. It would be Shinhwa. They have been around for so long in K-pop, and I haven't been a fan for that long, obviously. But they are an interesting group to look at. Like, I would like to know where they are growing, and I would like to follow every single one of their albums when they release it. Like, oh yeah, you are still going strong, and I would be so proud of them. So Shinhwa would be another group that I couldn't just leave, like as they are. So I would still care about them in a way. And the third group, I was, well, it would be Nine Muses. Right now, in a lot of groups, you feel like if your bias would leave, you would feel differently about them, and that's totally fine. I only have Super Junior and FX where my opinion on the groups wouldn't change if my biases were to leave, which is in Super Junior pretty impossible because Donghae would be the last member who would leave. But that sometimes you feel like your opinion would change if your bias would leave from that group. And in Nine Muses, probably my mind would change if Hyuna would leave. But I would still care a lot about Nine Muses, and I know that I would stick with them as long as I can. But if Super Junior were to disband, and I wouldn't be as interested in K-pop, like, it's a big if, because probably that's not gonna happen for a really long time. But it's a big if. If would that happen, probably I would only pay attention to Nine Muses as long as Hyuna is still there. I feel bad for that, but like, without Super Junior, I probably wouldn't even have a huge interest in K-pop in the first place. Like, it wouldn't be as interesting. Like, cool, but SuJu is the thing for me. And without that, probably like, but that's not gonna happen. That's the best thing about loving Super Junior. That's not gonna happen. I got into Super Junior when they had a rough time. I think they were still not stable. I could see them that they are heading that way. But when I got to know them a lot, they were already really stable, I think. So, sure, they still have fights, but now they totally learned how to overcome them and make up with each other. So, I trust them. Like, there are two groups that I trust that will be with me for a really, really long time. That is Super Junior and Shinhwa. Like, these two groups are so different from the rest of the groups. You can't deny this, that these two groups are really, really different. Of course, I love all my other bias groups, and I hope that they can last really long. It's just not that feeling that I know they are gonna last super long. I wish they were, so I don't wish them to disband for any of my groups, because obviously they are my favorite groups. But with Super Junior, there is this feeling that they're gonna be there. So if they would be disband is like, sure, like in 20 years, when they all have their families and they don't have time to make music together, they would probably not release music, but they would be still a group in a way. So I don't believe in an official disbandment for Super Junior. I believe in they will become inactive in the far future. That's what I believe. And I'm really sure about that. And the same thing that what I believe about Shinhwa. But they said they are gonna release albums until one member dies, and that's a really long time. So it's like I trust Super Junior, and they are like the reason why I'm into K-pop. So I just don't feel like, sometimes I feel like people don't know how much I love them. So it's not like something that you can just explain. Like, it's like, oh, you like these groups too? Yeah, I like them, but I don't like them as much as I like Super Junior. And some people don't believe me. Like, I don't know how they do that. Am I not making it enough obvious? I'm sorry about that, but sometimes it's like, sometimes I want stuff from other groups too, but I still get more SuJu. So I like buy one album, buy two SuJu. That's what I do, because they are releasing so many stuff. So I'm just confused when people are like not sure that I still like Super Junior, or they are not sure that I love them more than the rest. Like, what? It's so weird, because I live in my head, though. I know what I'm thinking, and in my mind I can't even imagine that thing that I will like. It's like I can't even imagine how could anyone see it in another way, that I wouldn't like them more than any other thing. But yeah, like that's so weird. But the only way that you're ever gonna experience this world is by your own eyes and your own mind. That's kind of depressing, actually. So it's like, from my perspective, it's like I can't have no idea how can anyone ever believe that Super Junior is not my favorite group and they are not important than anything else. More important than what am I saying? So it's like, what? It's like, I just feel like some people, like, they want me to prove them? I don't know. It's like, I don't want to prove it, because, I love them. It's like, I don't think it's something that needs to be proven. Like, I know that one day the time is gonna come when I have older stuff. So basically, all the things that I need are new stuff. So eventually it would be possible that I get more stuff from other groups than Super Junior. But since they always release things, I will still get things from them. And since I don't collect everything, there are some special things that I didn't collect yet. I could start collecting those. So there would be always Super Junior things what I'm getting. It just feels weird. I can't think about that time, because I'm still missing so many things that it feels like it's a really far future, like 2 years, and I wish it wouldn't be, but I just realized that since January I have not bought any older Super Junior things, only new ones, and we already passed 3 months, and that's 1/4 of the year. So that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad that I haven't bought any older SuJu. and I know I need to, but it's like SM is not giving me time for that. So I just hope one day I can have a complete collection, whatever that is. And I hope you understand that my love for Super Junior is the biggest, okay? So when I do a Super Junior tag, when I do a Super Junior album tag, when I do anything K-pop, and then there are questions, who is the best leader? My answer will be Ituk, okay? That's like basics, and you shouldn't say like, oh, you only know Super Junior. No, I know a lot of groups, but you know, they take more than half of my mind from the K-pop part of my mind. So there's a K-pop part of my mind, and more than half of it is Super Junior. And sometimes you might not think that because of my videos, or I don't know, you are my friends on Facebook, because I spend my SuJu time actually on my SuJu Tumblr. So when I post other groups on my Facebook, it's because I don't have another place to post about them where people would actually react to them. So that's why, I guess. You know what, this is a mess. There's like 4 things that I talk about. 5, 6 things that I talked about, so at least I hope you understood 3 of them. So, yes, thanks for watching. Bye.